Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nadine, aka Nia. If you're new, welcome. Nice to meet you. Make sure to subscribe and join the family. So now I'm going to go through some questions that I've got from Instagram. So the first one was, what was your overall experience in the program and how will you rate it or give your honest reviews? So my overall experience was that it was not a waste of time. I'm very glad that I found the program. There was a reason why I found it. I believe that it was God's will for me to find it, and it was God's will for me to do it, because the way that it got paid for and the things that I learned and the people that had said that they had been inspired throughout my journey and the doors that were opened for me because of it, and the doors that was opened for other people around me that I know of, is all positive things. And yeah, it changed my life. It didn't just change my life for the art, it actually changed every aspect of my life that I didn't think it would or didn't think needed to be touched. And it definitely connected all the dots that I had in my life previous that I didn't understand or didn't like, and helped me to accept myself for who I am and who I'm becoming, and put me on a path to greatness. As funny as that sounds, it's actually true, and I believe it, and I'll continue to work towards that, to become a better person. I only have this program to thank for that, and God obviously, and for not quitting. The next question is, what things did you learn in the program and what mistakes did you make and what went right? If someone takes the program, what we suggest to them, like do's and do nots. Well, I can't exactly say don't do this, don't do that, or do this, do that, because at the end of the day it's all an individual journey. But what I will say, like what advice I will give, is to not give up on it. Don't give up on yourself. Follow the advice that is given, because they have walked that path before. Yes, there are a few things that I did find that was said in the program that they said don't do this, but they actually do it now. So I would say also, and there's like probably one or two things that I didn't agree with. However, take everything with a pinch of salt. Do your very best through everything, and whatever you feel in your heart that you need to do, do it, and just follow your gut, because you always know what's right. Especially for you, it's all an individual journey. Just don't give up on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, like saying, oh, I should have done this better, I should have done. Don't be nitpicky, because you are supposed to go in as a student. So go in it with a student mindset. Try to learn and soak up as much information as possible, and follow the advice that you're given. And if you do get stuck, there's a beautiful community on Facebook and Instagram. Just reach out to any student, they can help you. Everyone is so lovely and kind and helpful, so don't be afraid to ask questions. And no question is a silly question, so don't say that, oh, I don't want to ask this because it's silly. No question is silly, because how are you supposed to learn? So don't go in with a master's mindset, go in with a student's mindset, and just enjoy it. Take your time if you need to take your time. Listen to your body. If you're tired, don't force yourself to do anything that you know was gonna mess up things for you further down the road. So yes. Next question. If a beginner wants to take the program and he or she does not know anything about the program and also does not know anything about drawing or painting, then what would you say to them? Is the program for them? And if they are thinking to switch their career or field to this, then what is your opinion? What more can you say or suggest to them related to the program? Well, it is program for beginners, it's a program for intermediates, it's a program for advanced. It teaches you all of the basics. That's where you have the drawing and oil painting section to learn all the traditional art, and then you move into mixed media and voice, so you learn how to find your own voice. And as I said before, I thought I'd found my voice before, but it turns out it was very, very basic, and I pushed it even further and really found my style. But then again, it's always evolving, and your art is not the brand, you are the brand. And yeah, it's for beginners because you learn everything from the ground upwards. And I was already doing art before, but I always learn something new. So as I said before, go in with a student mindset and you'll be absolutely fine. You'll learn everything you need to learn and be given the things that you can use to do your own research moving on. So don't worry about it. Next question. During the program, there are many supplies which are needed other than the kits which mastery programs have, which we can buy, and I also had. What products can you buy or use, and what are the things that are used that are not in the kit? Is it necessary to buy the kit? It's necessary to buy the kit for the first section because you have everything, literally everything you need to get through the first part of the course. For the mixed media section, it's not necessary to buy the kit because you just experiment with whatever it is that you want to experiment with. However, I wanted to buy the kit, so I bought the kit because I love mixed media. I knew that from the beginning, so I wanted to have as many supplies as possible. Now that I have found what kind of supplies I enjoy using the most, I don't use pretty much half of the things that I had from the mixed media kit, but I think as a beginner it is important to use everything and anything that you can get your hands on until you find the things that you enjoy using and until you find the way you like to use those things. And so there's no point in limiting yourself if you are learning, because you never know. You could enjoy spray paints, you could enjoy using wax pastels, you can enjoy using anything. You just never know. And I do use a good mixture of those things within all of my paintings. So if you can afford it and you can get it, I would suggest that you do it. Next question, about the mentor. Of course, if mentor option is used, then it will help a lot in the growth. You had a mentor option. If you didn't have a mentor option, then how was this journey for you? What would you suggest others or beginners to choose? I wouldn't say the mentor is absolutely necessary. It is good if you feel like you need that extra help, if you want to have somebody there all the time that you can ask questions to, if you feel like you're alone through it and you just need that to know that you're not alone, then it's great to have a mentor. As I said, I had a mentor for the first section of the course and it was really nice to have somebody there to like help encourage me and stuff, but I didn't necessarily need somebody to like ask questions to constantly, so that wasn't great. And I think if I was to do it again, I probably would have pushed myself even more to really like ask a lot of questions and revise my work, but I just wasn't in that kind of headspace to be able to do that, so it didn't work for me. And moving forward, I didn't use a mentor, and I don't necessarily regret it because I kind of knew at the beginning that I probably wouldn't use it, but I just wanted to get it anyway, and yeah, but whatever. Next question, how did you manage your time during your journey? How much hard work did it take from you? What would you suggest related to hard work and time for others as a beginner? Well, it's recommended to have 20 hours for each week that you put into your art, or more if you can. And it is great if you're not doing anything else, if you're not working a job, it is great because you can really put in all of your time and your hours. But the best thing about art and creativity is that it can fit within your life. It's not necessarily something your life has to fit around, and I have learned that now, that I fit art into my life instead of the other way around. And art takes up a massive part of my life anyway, so that's not necessarily a huge problem. I had planners, I had calendars, I had timers as well, and because I was working full-time, 12-hour shifts, so I would calculate how tired I was going to be when I got back home from work. I would dedicate like half an hour when I got home from work, and schedule, and I'd write myself a whole schedule. So if that works for you, then I would schedule out each week what times you have, what time slots you will have, like how much break times you have, because I knew that the first 4 days, Sunday to Wednesday, I would be working 12 hours, so I'd only have 1 hour in the evening to work on art, and then on Thursday, on Friday, I'll have like 12 hours to work. And you can schedule it around your life, but I would aim to put in the 20 hours at the very least each week. But everyone has like different schedules and different times. Just put in as much time as you can each day to your art. As long as you're working on art every single day, even if it's half an hour, if it's an hour, try to work on your art every single day. Next question. How did you keep yourself motivated and disciplined throughout the journey? If a beginner is there and he has taken the program and now he is on his own during the program, just attending the online class, and then he has to work on his own, then what would you suggest to or say to them? How did I keep myself motivated? The main thing is that I always kept my end goal in mind, reminded myself why I wanted to do this in the first place, and having little goals here and there is a very, very good thing. You have to have a solid why, and that will help get you through. Obviously, motivation comes and goes. To me, motivation is just a feeling. You will have days where you don't feel motivated, and I definitely did. I filmed my whole journey through the mastery program. I filmed every single week, which you can see. I've linked it in the description if you want to go back and watch every single week, and you'll definitely see there are some weeks that I didn't really film a lot, and there were some weeks I didn't paint, and that's just a natural, normal thing. However, I have gotten a lot better, and I understand now what to do in those times when I don't feel motivated. And you can't rely on motivation, you have to rely on discipline. So having a solid schedule of time slots where you can work on your art is very important, because you know that within this time I'm supposed to be working on art. If I don't feel like it, what can I do? Can I read something about art? Can I watch an interview? Can I listen to a podcast? Put on your favorite music, try and get into your right brain, and just do like some doodles or something and just not think about it. Don't maybe work on a big painting, maybe work on like a small drawing or a small painting, something like a fun, silly project, until you break that wall, and then you can get back into your art. You have to find little ways that work for you to get yourself back into art. Don't rely on being motivated. And for somebody who feels like they're on their own, I definitely had moments where I felt like I was on my own through the art process, because I kind of technically was, and there became a point where I stopped really posting on the Facebook community page, and I didn't have a mentor, and at that time I was the only one in my family that was doing this art, so it did feel a bit lonely. And what did I do? Luckily, I had a few people on Instagram that would message me every now and then, or I'd have some nice comments on my YouTube videos of people asking questions or just saying that they enjoyed the video, and that really helped. But you have to remember that you're not doing this program for other people, you're doing it for yourself, and that's like a big thing, that because sometimes you can get caught into people liking your work and stuff, and it's not supposed to be about that. If you are enjoying the process, if you are enjoying making things, and that's the most important thing I would say, don't just enjoy the final results and what comes after that. Try to fall in love with the process. If you can fall in love with the process, everything is just beautiful, because that is what the most that is what most of the work and most of your time goes into. It goes into the process of making things and editing pictures and drawing and source making and research. That all of that's the main part of art. The final results is a very, very small part. It does take up a lot of time and energy as well, but it's not necessarily the part that people see. I mean, like, your journey is the part that people don't necessarily see the most of. You can film like a video showing like the whole process of making a thing, but it's never exactly the same amount of time that was actually put into it, and you don't see the time that you spent editing that video or those photos or coming up with the text for it. Just so much goes into art in general. Like, even after you make it, that's a whole other process that goes into that. And if you can fall in love with that, you are absolutely set. And if you feel alone, try to find people online that you can connect with, other artists. Even just looking at other artist studios made me feel like I wasn't necessarily in a world of my own, because art can sometimes feel like you're in a world of your own. Like, you have your studio, you have your messes, and people are just like, what's going on? Like, people don't understand what you're doing. Like, this is crazy. Why do you always spend time in your studio or your room or wherever you create art? What's the end goal here? But if you understand what you're doing, then it's okay. And one thing that I have found is that I'm not alone when it comes to making art. Even though I am physically alone in my room or studio making art, I'm not lonely necessarily, because I really get into the process. And yeah, I can't really give any advice for anybody that feels that way. I'll just say try to find people online that you could connect with, or watch vlogs of other artists, because it makes you feel like you're in their world and that there's people out there that understand you, so you'll be fine. And you can always reach out to me. All of my socials are linked in the description, or you can comment on the end of in the comments of this video, or you can send me an email. Like, I'm here for everybody. Next question. If someone is unable to manage their expenses for the program, then what are your thoughts on this, and how did you manage all the things related to expenses? So at the very, very beginning, I did a fundraiser on a GoFundMe, and I sent that out to my friends and family, and they shared it as well. And that's initially how I paid for the first couple of months off from the program. And then after that, then I got myself a full-time job, and I just self-funded from there. And it wasn't necessarily an easy journey, because art is very, very expensive. I had to do a lot of overtime to be able to pay for like the kits and the canvases and like all the stuff that I would need for it. So and even now I would still do the same thing, because for an exhibition, then I have to do a lot of overtime to be able to book all the things that I need to for that. So there's definitely going to be a lot of sacrifices that need to be made until you can start having a return of investment. That's the same with any business that you start up, that you have a very big, maybe I say very big, most times it's very big, like initial investment, and then it takes some time before you break even and then start making profit. So that's just all a part of it. To manage your expenses, definitely budget, write down all of your incomings and outgoings, and what things are important to pay off first, and how much time do you have to work in order to be able to pay for what you need to pay for. You have to plan that out, and sometimes you cannot move, and sometimes I couldn't move on through the program until I had paid for what I needed to pay for. So I'd probably like take 2 weeks off. Like, I'd move my break weeks, because you have break weeks throughout the program, so I'd move my break weeks to suit my lifestyle. And you do have 2 years that you can finish the program in. I finished it in a year and a week, which is pretty good. So you can rejig things around, so don't get too stressed about not being able to follow on as it's set. because there's a lot of leeway for that. Next question, as the program was divided into some parts, how would you describe each part? To be able to see each part, just read the description for the mastery program, which is linked in the description. It will tell you, it goes over every single section and what you'll learn in each section, and it's pretty much straightforward. Next question, about part 3 and part 4, becoming professional, selling, marketing your stuff. I guess you had your online store before the program and you learned more about it, and then accordingly you changed your store. But if you didn't have any store or anything like that before, then how would it be after or during the program? Well, I had an Etsy store before I started the program, and then I closed it because it wasn't my style. So there's no point in selling art if you want to have like a whole launch and a whole brand thing. Then there's no point in having old pieces up if it's not who you are, and I didn't want to confuse anybody, so I did close it. And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with having a store beforehand or after, because you learn those things anyway. So there's not really any difference, really. I think now everything's a lot better since I took everything down and really learned everything that I needed to learn and did a whole like campaign for a website and stuff. It was a lot better for me and a lot more beneficial because I had it on an Etsy, but now I have my own website, which is, I did have my own website actually, but it just wasn't my voice. So taking it down and redoing it and relaunching it just did a whole lot better for me, really, and it taught me a lot that I'm happy with. Next question, I guess you had many more things to do during the program, like YouTube, your store, Instagram, etc. Then how did you manage all of this with the program? If someone who didn't have this many things to do, or we can say with less experience or no experience, then what should they do with focusing in the program? What other things they can do so that they could also start doing marketing, all these things which are related. Actually, I don't know much about this, so that they could also start their journey for professional sooner. I don't necessarily think there is a rush to start promoting everything and being a professional sooner per se. I don't think you need to put that kind of pressure on yourself to have to be selling straight away or whatnot, because you do learn that throughout the program. And I would actually suggest that you wait and follow how the program is set, because there's a lot of things that go into being a brand and being professional than you would think. And quite a lot of, I think actually quite a good number of people don't actually understand the difference between professional and, I don't want to say amateur, but I guess that is the word for it, because it's not just about there's like studio habits, there's your whole process, there's how you deal with business, there's marketing, there's obviously all of the branding aspects, there's like promotion, there's social media marketing and like visuals. There's like a whole ton of things that even I haven't got a list for, that you wouldn't think about. And I kind of was promoting art and like trying to sell art throughout the thing, but I wasn't putting much pressure on it because I wanted to make sure that I had my packaging right. I wanted to make sure that I had my logo and know how to follow up from sales and how to contact people and email marketing and all of that stuff. I wanted to have all of that ready and set, and like certificates of authentication, and there's just like a whole ton that you probably wouldn't even think about. And it was great being able to sell art because I did sell pieces, but my logo is completely different now, so I've signed those and it's not anything near what my signature looks like now. So the branding is different, and maybe down the line it wouldn't help. And like, yeah, there's just like a whole lot of things. So I would say follow the program. Don't be in a rush to sell everything, because you will sell things throughout the program anyway. Most likely when people see your art, they'll ask, oh, how much does this cost? And you can sell it, but you'll learn about pricing and everything like that. And really there are like short courses and like things that you can watch and listen to and read up on to learn all the different things that you want to learn. So there's things out there. It's not necessarily a secret or anything like that, but I would just say just follow on with the program. But if you can't wait, then there's things out there that you can read and listen to and watch and stuff. Oh yeah, and you also said I had my YouTube and store Instagram. How did I manage all of this with the program? Well, all of those stuff was things that I was doing anyway, so it didn't necessarily make that much of a difference. It did take longer because editing videos is not a quick thing, especially when I was filming so much, and it did slow down my painting time. It does slow down my painting time because I have to wait to like empty my memory card and charge batteries and all of that stuff, and I have to get all the camera angles, and it just slows down everything. But that's just a part of how things are. And I do have editing days and times where I say today is going to be like my admin day, where I edit videos, take photos, plan everything that I'm going to want to do for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month and stuff like that. So it's all just putting that into your schedule. Whatever is important for you, you'll put it into your schedule. I should get back into it, but I used to schedule like all of my Instagram posts. So I'd edit all of them, write the caption and hashtags and stuff, and I'll save it in my drafts, and then I'd have my to-do list where I put reminders of when I want things to be uploaded, and each day I would just go through it and tick off what thing I'm going to post next, and I'll just go to my drafts and publish it. So you can do that. Just be on top of things. That's how you should be running things anyway. Just stay on top of everything with lists and calendars and reminders. Next question. If someone doesn't have anything or any knowledge about this marketing, then will the program teach them from the start so that they could also grow as a professional? Yes, you will learn every single thing that you need to know about marketing in the marketing section. And the best thing about the mastery program now is that you can have forever full-time access to it. You can own it forever, and they update it whenever information is new. Whatever new information they come across, then they update it and add new video lessons. But you only have it for the rest of your life after you complete the program. Next question. After the program, did you feel independent in terms of making your own stuff or stuff for the store? Did the program make you independent in all ways? After some beginners finish the program, will they be independent? Will they be able to set further goals and be successful and grow? Well, after the program, I was already kind of feeling independent, and I was already feeling like a professional because I was implementing those things when I was implementing those things, I did feel like a professional, and when I wasn't, I didn't feel like a professional, because professional isn't just something that happens like that. It's not because you have some sort of skill set that makes you professional. It's the way you manage things, it's the time and effort you put into things, it's how you manage and organize yourself and your things, it's the way you market things, it's the quality of things. It's like there's a whole lot that goes into being a professional, which you will learn about throughout the program. And now I definitely feel like a professional, and I feel like a full-time artist, even though I'm not making a full-time income from my art. I'm a full-time artist because I am putting in the time and I'm putting in the effort, and I'm implementing the things that I have learned, and that's kind of the difference. And that's something that I would want you to look towards, is implementing the things that you have learned and not waiting for things to fall on your lap. You have to be really proactive in getting opportunities and making opportunities, and I always kind of have been like that anyway. I always used to make my own opportunities, but now I'm starting to have more confidence in myself to go for opportunities as well. well, more confidence, because I did do that, but not as much. I would say the only way that you will be successful is if you are implementing and you're putting in the work and you're putting in the time and the effort and you're doing your very best. If you stop doing those things, then you will not be successful, and you can't blame the course for that, because they taught you everything that you need to know, but it's not something that you just learn once and that's it. It's something you have to continually put in. And even I'm going to go back and I'm going to go through the lessons again and really like practice things and try to always improve, because once you feel like you've made it, then you stop growing and you start to stagnate and you become complacent, and I don't ever want to be in that spot, and you shouldn't either. And the last question is, there is a part in which they say finding your own voice. What is that all about and what does it mean? How did you find the one for you, and what if someone is unable to find their voice? So there is the voice section, which is in the mixed media section, the second part of the program, and I wouldn't necessarily say that finding your voice is like something that just happens. It's something that you'll find over time, and it's something that I wouldn't say you should pursue either. So I would say don't get caught up in trying to find your own voice. I'd say get caught up in making a lot of art and experimenting and pushing yourself and practicing and refining, and then you will get to the portfolio section and then you'll look at your work and you're like, whoa, everything looks kind of the same, or like you can tell it was made by the same person, and that's how you find your voice. I thought I had found my voice before because I was doing like particular things, and maybe that was my voice at that time, but it wasn't fully like fledged because it didn't include everything of my life. It was just like one thing that I liked this style, so I just carried on with it, and that's not necessarily your voice. It is whatever is inside that comes out onto the page or canvas or whatever it is that you are using. But you will learn all of that stuff. You will learn about yourself and things that you like, things that you don't like, and you do all of your experimentation, and then you'll find that over time, and maybe it will be a very, very quick time, that you'll start to see things like, oh wow, that's actually all looks the same. And I wouldn't say that I found my voice within the voice section. I found it during the portfolio section when things started to come together and I realized what I liked and everything started to make sense, and it will just all make sense for you, and then you're like, oh okay, that's what it is. So it's okay, you will find it if you're putting in the work and you're making a lot of art. And if you're not making a lot of art, then it's just going to be very, very slow for you, and you probably won't find your voice that way. But just keep going. And that's kind of what it's about at the end of the day, is just creating art and enjoying it and doing your very best. And if you don't take away anything from this video or from the Mastery program or anything like art related, the one thing I would want you to remember is just enjoy it, enjoy the process, and just make a lot of art. Whether it looks bad to you or good to you, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's about falling in love with the process and just enjoying creating, because at the end of the day, that is what you want to do. You want to be able to create, and if you want to be a full-time artist, that means you want to be a full-time creator and just doing the things that you love. There's always going to be things that you don't enjoy. There's things that I don't enjoy about art, but at the end of the day, the trade-off for being able to do 90% of the thing that you love and then 10% of things that you don't love but need to do it in order to continue to do that 90%, it doesn't really matter. Like, the pros outweigh the cons drastically. So I hope that this video was informative and it was helpful, and it kind of explained like my experience. I really did enjoy this whole program, and I loved everything that I learned about myself through it and that I learned from others, and it just kind of taught me that I did know what I knew where I was supposed to go. It's just that I didn't have the words for it, or I didn't understand it. Like, all the clues are there in your life, and this program helps you put all of those together to see like not necessarily the bigger picture, because there's still a lot that I don't know or need to learn, but it helps put you on that path to be able to see things more clearly. And it's just been so beautiful, and I would recommend anyone to do it wherever you are in your art journey, because it's just great. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll answer them, or I'll even do like a second video, like just all Q&As. Let me know what you'd be more interested in me doing, and I'm always available on social media if you want to like message me or anything like that. I always do my very best to respond to everything. But yeah, and if you are joining the mastery program, congratulations to you for following your goal and your dreams and being brave. Continue to be brave throughout it, and don't let any like negativity or anything get you down. Just keep going. We're all here for you, we're all rooting for you, because art is important. We need it, and we need you. You are like a very big important part of this world, so don't ever forget how important art is and how important you are as a creative. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe, because my journey is just getting started, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. You